Stoic Empire, the 6 words of an unshakable man. Have you ever noticed that the harder you desperately try to kick off a conversation, the quicker it fizzles out and dies a painful death? You muster up your courage and say something basic like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" And within mere seconds, it's awkwardly over, silence creeps in, eyes dart away, and the spark is gone. Meanwhile, picture this: someone else casually strolls into the exact same room, utters just a handful of words, nothing flashy or rehearsed, and suddenly, music, the entire group turns, hangs on every syllable, and the energy shifts. It's not because they're better looking with perfect features, funnier with endless jokes, or oozing more confidence like some charismatic superhero. No, it's something far deeper, almost mystical, rooted in the core of their being. When they open their mouth to speak, the air in the room transforms, it thickens with anticipation, charged like before a storm. Music, their words carry real weight, like ancient stones etched with timeless wisdom, not lightweight chatter. And here's the revelation: the secret isn't about talking more, rambling on to fill every void, or dominating the space with your voice. It's precisely the opposite, saying less, but infusing every single word with profound meaning, intention, and authenticity. The Stoics grasped this profound truth over 2,000 years ago, in a world of emperors, wars, and philosophical debates, where silence could speak volumes amid the chaos. True presence is infinitely more powerful than any performance, any act put on for approval. Today, I'll walk you through 6 deceptively simple phrases and 1 transformative mindset that will make people naturally gravitate toward you like iron to a magnet, without a hint of pretending, manipulating others' emotions, or performing like you're on stage auditioning for likes. And the 4th one? It's the most misunderstood of them all, often dismissed as weakness when it's actually a superpower requiring deep inner mastery. Principle 1, tell me more about that. Just 4 unassuming words, yet they unlock hidden doors that most people rush past in their daily hustle, never even noticing the opportunities for connection. Music. Imagine a real-life scenario: someone casually mentions, "I've been learning guitar lately, picking it up as a hobby." What do the majority of folks do in response? They hijack the moment and turn it into a full-blown competition, as if it's a verbal battlefield. "Oh yeah, I played guitar back in college, toured with a band even." Or, "You absolutely have to try this finger-picking method I discovered, it revolutionized my playing overnight." Boom! In an instant, the spotlight swings away from the other person and blasts right back onto themselves, ego inflating like a balloon at a party. The fragile door to genuine connection slams shut with a resounding echo, and what could have been a bridge becomes a wall. Now, flip the script entirely. You pause, look them in the eye, and simply say, "Tell me more about that." Music, then, and this is crucial, you stop talking completely. You lean in, fully present. You listen not to craft a clever reply, not to one-up them or sound impressively knowledgeable, music, but to truly understand their world, their passions, their struggles with those first chords. That's the sacred ground where real, lasting connection takes root and flourishes, like a seed in rich soil under the sun. Most people wander through their entire lives desperately waiting for even one soul who genuinely wants to listen, without interrupting, without judgment, without an agenda. When they finally encounter that rare person, they never, ever, forget it, it etches into their memory like a cherished milestone. Epictetus, the enslaved philosopher who rose to Stoic greatness, wisely said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Music, this isn't just clever wordplay, it's a blueprint for human interaction. Listening isn't passive downtime, like zoning out during a lecture, it's active, vibrant presence that radiates respect. It silently declares to the other person, "You matter so much to me that I'm willing to be silent and give you the floor entirely." Music, when you master speaking less and listening with profound depth, truly absorbing every nuance, people don't walk away thinking, "Wow, that person was so incredibly interesting and full of stories." Music, no, they leave with a glow, thinking, "I felt truly interesting, seen, and valued when I talked to them." And that intoxicating feeling? It's the magnetic force that draws them back to you time and again, craving more of that rare validation. Principle 2, I don't know. 3 short words that practically no one possesses the raw courage to utter in a world obsessed with appearing flawless. When someone probes for your opinion on a topic you're unfamiliar with, say, quantum physics, a niche historical event, or the latest crypto trend, your knee-jerk instinct is to pretend to bluff your way through. You might sound, music, clever with vague generalities. Well, it's complicated, but yeah, I think it's heading in that direction. Or toss out something ambiguous that could twist to mean anything, dodging the truth. But pretense is like a crack in glass, it always shows eventually. Music, the tone wavers unnaturally, the eyes flicker seeking validation, and trust evaporates in an instant, leaving a sour aftertaste. Music, now, envision a different path, someone secure in their skin, calmly declaring, I don't know, without a shred of apology, without rambling excuses or deflections to save face. Music, that raw honesty flips the entire atmosphere upside down, infusing it with freshness and reliability. Because if they're straightforward about the gaps in their knowledge, you can bet your life that what they do know is rock solid and trustworthy. Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, embodied this when he proclaimed, music, I know that I know nothing. It wasn't fake humility or self-deprecation, it was pure, unadulterated wisdom shining through. True knowledge ignites precisely where arrogance burns out and fades to ash. Insecure people cling desperately to the illusion of being informed about everything under the sun, fearing exposure like a house of cards in the wind. Secure individuals, however, rest in peaceful acceptance of their limits, they're at ease admitting they're not omniscient. Saying, I don't know, isn't a sign of weakness or defeat, it's crystalline clarity, a beacon of strength. And here's the beautiful paradox, it paradoxically commands attention, making others hang on your every word when you do choose to speak, knowing it's grounded in truth. Principle 3, that sounds hard. When someone bravely opens up about something raw and painful, a crushing workload at the office, a heartbreaking breakup that shatters their world, a personal failure that haunts their nights, your first impulse might be to jump in as the hero and fix it all. You should try this productivity hack. Or, when it happened to me, I just powered through by doing X, Y, Z. You mean well, genuinely wanting to help lift their burden, but what they actually hear isn't empathy or compassion. Music, it's subtle judgment, a dismissal, your pain isn't valid unless you handle it my way. Instead, pause and offer just, that sounds hard. You're not scrambling to solve their puzzle, not downplaying or minimizing their suffering as no big deal. You're fully acknowledging it, holding space for their emotions without intrusion. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor philosopher who ruled an empire while journaling his inner thoughts, wrote, be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Yet most reverse this golden rule, they rush to fix everyone else's messes while making endless excuses for their own shortcomings and flaws. But real, stoic strength is gentle, like a steady hand on a trembling shoulder. When you say, that sounds hard, music, you grant them unspoken permission to feel everything fully, anger, sadness, confusion, without needing to justify or defend it to you. And in that safe, unjudged space, true healing begins to unfold organically. Not because you dispensed clever advice like a vending machine, but because you offered unwavering presence. A quiet anchor in their storm. They don't need your solutions or strategies, they crave your music, stillness, your calm acceptance that says, I'm here with you in this, no strings attached. Principle 4, the power of silence. This is the toughest one to embrace, music, and by far the most misunderstood, often mistaken for awkwardness or disinterest when it's pure mastery. Most people live in mortal fear of silence, they treat it like a venomous snake in the room. The second a pause emerges in conversation, they, music, panic internally, heart racing, and frantically fill it with meaningless filler words, unrelated anecdotes from years ago, or forced nervous laughter that echoes hollowly. They convince themselves that silence equals failure, a dead end, proof they're boring or unskilled. But flip that belief, silence, music, is unbreakable strength, a superpower in disguise. Observe someone who has truly mastered it in action. In a bustling group setting, they speak sparingly, rarely if at all. And when they finally do contribute, everyone hushes and listens intently because their preceding silence acts as a signal flare. What comes next is worth your full attention. They don't rush to bombard the airwaves or prove their worth. They allow silence to work its magic, building tension and value. Seneca, the Stoic advisor to emperors who faced exile and tragedy, once reflected, "Silence is a lesson learned through many sufferings." Music, those who have confronted their inner demons and faced themselves head-on no longer fear the quiet voids. They've discovered a profound truth: silence isn't empty or void, it's music, brimming full, overflowing with undivided attention, with latent power, with unspoken understanding. When you cease running from silence, like fleeing a shadow, you simultaneously stop evading your own depths. You begin to listen better to others and to your thoughts, think with laser clarity amid the noise, and your words evolve to carry real gravitational weight. You no longer speak merely to occupy space or ease anxiety. Music, you speak deliberately to convey deep meaning, truth, and impact. And once you internalize this mastery, people instinctively lean in closer before you even part your lips, anticipating the wisdom about to emerge. Principle 5, I appreciate you. Music, a mere 3 words, yet they strike far deeper into the soul than a casual "thank you" ever could. Thank you is purely transactional, it acknowledges an action, a favor done, you helped me move all those heavy boxes. Music, you fixed my computer glitch in minutes. But I appreciate you transcends the task entirely, it honors the person, their essence. It whispers, I see who you are at your core, beyond what you do for me. When you tell someone, I appreciate you, you're spotlighting their inherent character, their reliability, their quiet strength, not their utility like a tool in a toolbox. And that shift changes everything in the dynamic. Marcus Aurelius started each dawn with a ritual of reflection, contemplating the people in his life and feeling profound gratitude not for their deeds or productivity, but for the quality of humans they were, their integrity, kindness, resilience. He understood that actively recognizing virtue in others is the spark that keeps our own virtue burning brightly. Use this phrase sparingly, like a rare spice, but always with utter sincerity. Reserve it for moments when someone demonstrates true consistency in chaos, unwavering loyalty through storms, or effortless kindness without expectation. Recognition of that caliber forges bonds unbreakable by any mere transaction or exchange. In a modern world that idolizes productivity metrics, output, and hustle over raw humanity, being the one who truly sees others for who they are becomes nothing short of revolutionary, an act of quiet rebellion. Principle 6. No. The single hardest word to voice in any language and yet the most liberating one once mastered, freeing you from chains you didn't even know were there. People constantly demand slices of your time, your precious energy, your undivided attention, invites to events that drain you, favors that derail your focus. Requests that clash with your priorities. And even when your gut screams otherwise, you default to yes out of guilt that gnaws at you, music, ingrained habit from years of people-pleasing, or sheer fear of disappointing them and facing conflict. But here's the harsh truth, every time you say yes to something trivial or misaligned that doesn't truly matter, you're quietly, subconsciously saying no to what does, your inner peace, your laser-focused goals, your personal growth and self-care. Epictetus taught, first learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. Every yes carries an invisible cost, a trade-off in your finite life. If your yes is flung around meaninglessly to everything, music, it dilutes to nothing, losing all value. Contrast that with someone who has honed the art of no, they pause thoughtfully first, no rush. They weigh the request against their values and boundaries. And if it's not a fit, they deliver a simple, firm no, without apology, without elaborate excuses or justifications to soften the blow. That unyielding clarity demands and earns respect automatically. Because when others realize your no is authentic and non-negotiable, your yes transforms into something powerful, rare, and trustworthy. Boundaries aren't walls that push genuine people away, they're intelligent filters. They repel those who only valued your endless availability like a free resource, and they attract those who honor and respect your true value as a person with limits. These 6 phrases, embodying curiosity, music, honesty, validation, silence, appreciation, and firm boundaries, are far from mere social tricks or hacks to game interactions. They are pure reflections of deep, Stoic character, forged in self-awareness. They demand no performance, no mask, they require only full presence in the moment. Be curious enough to listen with your whole being. Humble enough to admit, I don't know, without ego's defense. Gentle enough to validate pain with, that sounds hard. Calm enough to embrace silence as an ally. Aware enough to truly see and say, I appreciate you. And strong enough to safeguard your time with a resolute, no. Music, the Stoics knew it well, real attraction isn't about piling on more words, more flair, more desperation to impress. It's about ruthlessly subtracting the unnecessary, the background noise of filler, the compulsive need to perform for validation, the paralyzing fear of rejection or silence. The instant you drop the act and stop performing, people finally start paying rapt attention. Not just to the words tumbling from your mouth, but to the authentic you shining through when you speak them, with weight, with truth, with unshakable presence. If this expanded exploration shifted how you view communication and human connection, drop a comment below. Which of these 6 phrases will you commit to practicing in the next 24 hours to see the magic unfold? And if you're hungry to keep evolving in calm composure, unwavering presence, and true self-mastery, subscribe to Stoic Spring, where you'll cultivate the daily habit of fiercely protecting your peace and fortifying your mind, one intentional day at a time. Stoic Empire.